I came across an article on Twitter, and it talks about one hit wonders. Now, they named a couple teams. Um, this is it, 2000. You had Oregon State um, in 2000, which I kind of disagree with. I tell you why. The Oregon State team in 2000 had Chad Ochocinco, Chad Johnson, as y'all know him as, and TJ Houshmandzadeh on the team. That was a pretty good team. But a one-hit wonder to me doesn't do anything. They only lost to Washington. They finished number 4 in the state. But they murdered Notre Dame 41-9. But the next year they went 5-6. Dennis Erickson was the coach. The year after that, there was 8-4, 8-5. I'm assuming they lost a lot of talent. The year after that, there was 8-5. And they made the Las Vegas Bowl. Now, will they ever win team after that? No, they won't. So, it's kind of hard to call them a one-hit wonder unless you say the one hit was still finishing in the top 4. The next one-hit wonder was the University of Illinois in 2000. Now, this is what I could agree with. This team only lost to Michigan and LSU in the Sugar Bowl, but they finished like 10-2 that year, and then next year they were like 5-6, 1-11, and 5-6. See, there was a definition of one-hit wonder, and the year before that they were 5-6. Cal in 2004. Again, somebody that I had to disagree with. I don't think there was a one-hit wonder. They had Aaron Rodgers and Marshawn Lynch on that team. But if you go look at after that year, they were still like 8-5. They lost to Southern Cal that year by 7. Excuse me. I'm looking at the stats right now. It also Texas Tech and what's called. We're gonna talk about them a little bit later because they was also a one-hit wonder, according to this Twitter thing. Again, it's your definition of a one-hit wonder. They went 8-4. The next year, they went 10-3. The next year, won the Holiday Bowl. The Pac-10 champion. I mean, they were 7-6, beat Air Force in the bowl. So you want to call that a one-hit wonder? I guess you can. Next one-hit wonder was Texas Tech, 2007. They didn't win anything, but that's the team that beat Texas at Texas A&M. I know Michael Crabtree, Cranberry, whatever his name is, had played with San Francisco for a little while. Pretty good receiver. They called them a one-hit wonder, but you go look at that coaching staff. Riley was on it. Ed Ruffin from East Carolina was on it. Dana Holgorsen, West Virginia head coach. I think he's the head coach at Houston. The coach at SMU was there. Um, he was there on that coaching staff, and they were pretty good. They were 8-5 a couple of times. Uh, After that, then you go to Kansas, 2007. Um, wow, that team was a one-hit wonder, but they had some pretty good years after that. Under I can't remember Fat Man name. I know I should be calling nobody fat because I'm fat, but they had a pretty good years after him. Uh, who you want to go in next? Auburn, 2013, 2010. Well, I guess you consider a one-hit wonder because they came out of nowhere to win the national championship. However, they were 3-9 the next year, and then they went to a national championship game again versus Florida State. So I don't know if we called them a one-hit wonder or not, but they were. The program was consistent outside that 3-9 year. Then you gotta go to one of my favorite teams, Texas A&M, 2012. I don't know if we called it a one-hit wonder, but it was 8-5 after that. A couple times, 11-2, tied for fifth in the ACC. Chris Kingsbury was the assistant coach, but they lost 2 games that year. Texas A&M has never lived up to the hype of their program. I mean, I can't tell you the last time they won a conference championship. I know they had one in the SEC, but the Big 12, I can't remember. The next year they go with Miami in 2017. That team came out of nowhere, turnover chain. Mark Richt got some people to play well. That's what they came out with the turnover chain. Blah, blah, blah. And I don't think Miami has had any success since that year. They really faltered her at the end of that year because I think they lost like in the last 3 games, Virginia, Clemson, and Pitt. So people call that a one-hit wonder. Miami 2017. Baylor 2019. I really didn't look them up. But I could tell you, that's another one-hit wonder. I'm glad to tell you, they got LSU up here. And let me say this about LSU. They whooped Clemson butt in the national championship game. It's hard to call them a one-hit wonder because of COVID that year. This team finished 11-1, 8-1. This Baylor team. I lost the conference championship game to Oklahoma. But let me see. Well, I guess Baylor the year before was 7-6. Matt Rule's second year, or whatever. Then the year next year, which was a COVID year, they had trouble. So, but my comments about LSU, I could see why people call them a one-hit wonder, but LSU has always had a successful program. So it's hard to call them a one-hit wonder. Because last year they were missing so many people, and because of COVID, it's hard to say that they're a one-hit wonder because they didn't have a proper development the next year. So And I think LSU is going to be pretty good this coming up year. So it's hard to call them a one-hit wonder. Um, Joe Burrow should be the one-hit wonder, if anything, because he didn't do the same thing that he did the first 2 years. The first year at LSU and the 2 years he did at Ohio State. You didn't see that. So, hey, I would call him a one-hit wonder. But all right.